Here we go. It's showtime. Stephen A. Smith. Pat McAfee. This is Carcino for Life, and we're presenting a sports war. Oh, buddy. What you don't know is going down, and it's been going down. They just been keeping you in the dark, as they always do. Stephen A's been doing.
I came on the air and talked about how Anthony Davis was a top 7 player. I take it back. He don't look like he even wants to go anywhere near the basket. And my point is, yo, bro, you too big, you too skilled, you too talented. What has happened to Anthony Davis? Yes, Russell Westbrook can't shoot, but that's about it. We need to be talking less about Russell Westbrook and more about Anthony Davis. Because, damn it, I expected better.
And we expected better also. Now let's get to it. What is this sports war about? Guys throwing jabs at each other, the whole nine. Well, what is this really about? As you can see, there is a major divide between the talent level of what's going on with ESPN in the regular sports world, but it's not even about network. Because some are on the same network and some are on different networks. But what you're seeing is the value of black talent versus the value of what they consider sports talent and white compadres, right? Your white contemporary brothers get paid way more than any of you. Why? Stephen A. Smith was getting paid $8 million a year before he got his raise in an EP credit, which now bumps him up to like $12 million. Which is congratulations to him. He earns about $12 million a year. Right? He was the big man on campus. Then Pat McAfee brings his whole network over. Pat McAfee says, hey, this is me. I'm coming through the door. He already had a 4-year, $120 million deal with FanDuel. He walks out of that deal, steps into ESPN deal, and is worth $85 million over 5 years. That's a lot. It makes Stephen A's deal look ridiculous. It makes him look like a clown. And he's been with ESPN all these years. And he's been the face of the network for years. And now he's still treated as the help. That a guy who was never in sports media, Pat McAfee, a former NFL player, could walk out, walk up, walk on in the scene, create his own thing, and then bring it to the network where he still owns his show. He still has his guys. He doesn't have a boss. The president of ESPN don't even speak to him. Well, these hanger-ons and supervisors. He can supersede Norby Williamson. He responds directly to two people. The president of ESPN and the president of Disney. And if you're not them, you're out. And that's it. So when you want to speak on the elements of the elephant in the room, and people gonna say, "Oh, you just hate Stephen A." This is bigger than Stephen A. This is sports war. And this is the war that they're fighting. Shannon Sharpe came in and got a deal that paid him $4 million coming through the door. He was in a negotiation, and this is why it took so long. Shannon Sharpe, coming from Fox, had a buyout, so they had to work through that with Fox because they did a buyout, and they want to make sure Shannon Sharpe is clear. And in the negotiations to be on First Take, they were saying they were taking a risk with Shannon Sharpe. They didn't know if he was going to blow up and have an incident on the set. So they were only hired him for the NFL season and said, we'll start off with two shows a week and we'll do this on a trial-based run. It paid off huge. They doubled the numbers that they normally do on their best day with Shannon Sharpe. The numbers went through the roof. As Undisputed was getting pummeled, this also showed the networks what they really been wanting to see. Do we really need Stephen A. Smith? Seeing the type of numbers he generates. Is Stephen A. really needed, or is he expendable? He was an expendable asset, and that is all he is. And he knows it now. At $12 million, the network has been trying to save money. This is the way around it. They have been hemorrhaging cash for a long period of time, and this is the way to get back. Now, it's going to get more interesting. Because on the other side of that coin, Shannon Sharpe just got an extension, right? So now his extension is going to make him a regular on First Take. I'm hearing that a raise that he got is somewhere between 7 and 8 million. That's putting him up there near par with Stephen A. Now that he's got the full contract with ESPN, they're welcoming him into the family. You have situations that's brewing that are just tearing everything apart. You look across the pond. And this is what I love about this situation, right? You look across the pond and you see Tony Romo on CBS walks in and get a 10-year contract for $180 million. When he was with the Dallas Cowboys, Romo, who couldn't even get past the second round of a playoff, when he played in the league, he had a 6-year deal for $108 million. This deal is way more massive in his 10-year contract after football. Now, what does that detail? That's a hell of a jump. That is actually incredible. I never dreamed somebody would get that kind of money. But it happened. Now the question you gotta ask is, how the hell does Tony Romo get that kind of money and he's doing CBS and broadcasting? That's a lot of goddamn money just to broadcast a game. Because it's network television. That's where the big bucks are. Cable's fine, but network television is king. And they write big boy checks at CBS. Now all the blacks are on one side fighting for equality and can't get it unless they point out the hypocrisy and the large pay differential between the two. Now you got this circle that seems to keep going around, right? Where black media operatives have got to keep watching this, as Aikman has a $90 million 5-year contract with CBS, and is now tied with Tony Romo as the highest paid talent on sports television. Now, to have this laid out in such a format to where everyone else involved is looking at it and kind of envious that you were able to pull this off, but it's echoing sentiments that just don't make sense or don't add up. Then you see Ryan Clark has to put out a message saying that him and ESPN, they might just be going their separate ways. And then ESPN comes back and is paying him $2 million a year. He's making a little over $2 million a year. And it's supposed to be the highest paid guy they got covering sports. Well, covering the NFL. Now, let's speak on that. Troy Aikman's getting a 5-year, $90 million deal. And Ryan Clark is getting a $2 million deal discussing football. Troy got to show up one day a week and he's done. Meanwhile, Ryan Clark's got to be there Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturday, sometimes Sunday. He's there 6 days out of a week, if not 7. And what does that do? What opportunities does that open up? Who they open up for? All right, people starting to understand it now. This sports war is real. People need to understand and get on board. This thing is real, and the pay differentials of 60 and 70% differences is crazy wild. Then Kimberly Martin, who's on the list and making what, $125,000 a year? Hell, I make more than Kimberly Martin than what she make on First Take. But these are the players in the game, B. Oh, we can't forget our boy, Colin. Who can forget Colin Cowherd? Because it don't make no sense to do that. Everybody know about Colin. Colin Cowherd is the ruler in the podcast game. He's got Club Shay Shay, which has risen 75% thanks to the Cat Williams interview. We got Nightcap with Ocho Cinco. That's getting 1 million downloads and 15 million YouTube viewers monthly. The volume has registered 639 million downloads since it launched. Now, it's got 4 billion impressions across YouTube and social media with everything it's generated. The volume had recently 5 shows on Apple's Top 25 Sports Podcast. The Herd, Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, and what was it? Club 520? Club 520. Well, when you look at the big picture and the scale, what does Colin have going? That's just that. What about his contract, though? His contract's up in 2025, and guys are coming to pick him up. They're coming to take him away. It's saying Colin Cowherd had made $5 million a year, which we all know. That's probably a little jaded. You know? The Herd and everything about it is Colin didn't like to put out the business of his contract. But I was told he was getting 8 figures. Well, not 8 figures, but 7 figures. But that was just, the way they did things. Feel me? And now, as you can see, as the Cino pulls up on the sports wall, I'm in the middle of this shit now. Yes, I'm in the middle of this because we are all grossly underpaid. We are not paid the same or equally as our counterparts. Why is that? There's not supposed to be color lines. Not in this media. The information is the information, right? So why would there be color lines? Shannon Sharpe has proved he can draw in more people than Pat McAfee. He proved that he can get anybody. 2 black men just sat down and did an interview together. Let that sink in. 2 black men. They sat down and conducted an interview that broke the internet. 60 million views in a month. It's quite impressive. Quite impressive. Now, what is the major problem here? Pat McAfee's trying to grow, and he's running into resistance from ESPN's older staff. They want the good old boy way to still go and exist. And Pat McAfee's like, that's dead. You don't even know my relatives and where all they came from. And we showed you guys where that, Pat McAfee and where he came from, and did he have it hard? Did he have it easy? He had to know how to fight. Where he was from, you guys don't probably know because he was out the country. But that's what we're talking about, right? Judging a book by its cover. Now, Shannon Sharpe is generating more money than Stephen A. Smith. Yet and still, Uncle Shay absolutely. I've always been a person of saying, if you're going to do something, do it right. That's always been my motto. If you're going to do something, do it right. Because once you screw it up, you never get it back. Now, everybody's wondering about the backdrop. And I wanted this backdrop for a reason, because this is a civil war. This is a color line war. Right? And that color is green. They're saying the dollar that's the same denomination is not worth the same for Stephen A. as it is for Pat McAfee. Now, when people make their comparisons, go through their analysis, right? They're going to see one thing. Y'all don't see the money. Y'all see the talent. Y'all see Stephen A. Smith doing his thing. Y'all don't see his money. Y'all don't see how much he gets paid that week. Y'all don't see Shannon Sharpe's money when he's talking. You gravitate to him because he has it in him. He has that gift. Oh, yeah. Now, the other guys I don't really speak for except for Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark conducts himself as a man. They gave him a lowball, snotty offer because they felt like, this is it. This is it for you. Like, it's the last time we go do that type of move. Yes, sir. Very much so. The world is changing, and not necessarily for the better. You've seen a lot of people get in somebody else's way, and they want to fight. They want to carry up a bunch of nonsense. What are you mad about the other person for? Because they got money and you didn't, probably off the situation. Yep. I think these networks are telling you exactly what they want to do. These networks are telling you, hey, look, we're not going to follow behind and get behind the playoffs against some team that ain't going to make it, and I'm playing against them, and I don't need the game. Yeah, well, that game went to overtime, and I read him all the time. But that's neither here nor there. Stephen A. Smith is going to do what he's doing until somebody's able to come knock him off. And he got Shannon Sharpe. And he was like, oh, Shannon Sharpe got a lot of enemies. A lot of people talking about doing him dirty. And he just got the deal. Live do it. Mm-hmm. Good acoustic sounds. But no. In this sports world, you have the black woman, Kimberly Martin, who's married to a white man who attacks these white men for not being 10 toes down when it comes to the racism. And then the ringleader was LeBron James. Yeah, went up to him. They had a talk. Everything. Now, I know what many of you might be saying. No, these are all millionaires. Not true. Kimberly Martin isn't a millionaire yet, but she's on track. But I just think the pay differential is so large, that's hard to ignore. And to see that they have all this money and generating to give away to people who haven't proven anything. Tony Romo hadn't proven anything. He actually won. Those guys came up. He got championships, and Troy left at the height of his career and got out. Absolutely. So when you look at big picture and you think big picture, you got to think about what's the scenario. What is the big draw? What is the big, ooh, wow? Because only people going to know is Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee. Nobody's asking the questions why these guys get the money flat out the bat. Boom. Tony Romo, 10 million, 180 million. Network television's where the big dogs is. They don't really value social media like that, even though Shannon Sharpe has proven he draws and has the most interest of anybody that's on this damn panel. So this is a sports war where all the black side is trying to blame the white side for everything that went wrong in their life. They come out and give little slight remarks about, like, oh, well, he ain't like me, he's white. So Pat McAfee had to check him on it. Because you ain't just going to throw his name under the bus, which I understood. Pat McAfee was like, you don't even know me, where I come from, and what I did to get to where I'm at. I bet it all. I grabbed my balls and bet it all. Now, when you look at Troy Aikman's contract and all these multi-million-dollar deals flying around, and you're like, Troy Aikman don't move the needle. Why is he getting all this money? These things need to be addressed, but they're not being addressed. Because you tell me ESPN had to do all these cuts and they had to let a lot of people go because they had all this money caught up into these bad contracts with athletes who were past their prime and nobody cared about it. Now, here's where it gets sticky. ESPN is trying to revamp their brand because they're dying. ESPN radio is awful. So Pat McAfee was brought over to try to put a Band-Aid on it. We got to get the McAfee show. We got to save ESPN radio. That's a shame. When someone has to come in to save the network. Molly Qerim was categorized as a black woman. I kid you not. They called her a black woman. The first black female host who worked as a commentator and a moderator in 2015. She briefly left the show in 2023, going through her contract dispute with ESPN. Stephen A. Smith been in a contract renegotiation back and forth since he signed his extension, right? So now it's like, man, Molly only gets $1 million for First Take. That's all she does is First Take. So Molly Qerim is basically done. You know, so if First Takes falls, what are they going to do with Molly? You know, so this whole thing is going up in grabs. But when you look at the pay differential and you look at how other people are as compared to where they are today and what's going on right now and why the white compadres are getting all the money and the blacks aren't. And the blacks are pointing that out. The blacks are pointing it out big time and saying, what about us? Well, what about you? What do you have that you're bringing into the world? Well, it's like this. First Take is doing great numbers because of Shannon Sharpe. Adding a personality like Shannon Sharpe opens up the door to make it even bigger for the next person to come through it. So when you see somebody like Shannon Sharpe, you're like, wow, Shannon Sharpe did this, and oh, Shannon did that. Oh, Stephen A's trying to create that show, right? So that it can bail him out of the situation he's in. Because I'm finna tell you right now, in the sports war, it's finna get even more crazy. Now, here's where it gets a little bit dicey. Stephen A. knows the writing's on the wall. ESPN is circling the wagons. Now he's trying to build this Stephen A. Smith show up so he can hopefully sell it, get ESPN bets to come in and sponsor it. He wants to get somebody to come in, DraftKings. Y'all got to help me pay for this. So he's putting all this money into it. But guess what? Right now, it's a money pit. Yeah. Right now, the show is a money pit. You're putting all of this money in the show, Stephen A., but it isn't going anywhere. No. I'm going to talk about all these different things. I'm going to talk about P. Diddy. I'm going to talk about Vegeta and Goku. You talking about every subject up the pipe. You're trying to be Kwame Brown too hard. And you just not talented enough. Because talent, see, the thing about Kwame is that Kwame is authentic. You're a hack. You've been a hack for years. Your shtick has run its course. Shannon Sharpe is embarrassing you every time y'all debate. Pat McAfee, JJ Redick, Ryan Clark, everybody is taking you to school on your show. Jay Williams was up there taking you to school. Jay Williams was getting $1 million. Actually, it was like $900,000 a year with ESPN. Just to throw that out there. Now, the color barrier in this event as to why they try to make it look and seem as if blacks on this side, the brothers on this side, is worth so much less than the white people on this side. They got the same company, Pat McAfee and Stephen A. Smith, and except for he brought his own business there. He didn't bring himself there and apply for a job at ESPN and get hired. Wrong. He brought his company to ESPN. And ESPN is just distributing what's his. Totally different than Stephen A. going there saying that I'm an incredibly hard worker and I'm really determined and I won't let you down, Skip. And when you do that and you go down those roads, you put yourself in a predicament to where these people are going to control you. They're going to lean on you. They're going to say, this person can't do X, Y, and Z. I don't trust them. Right? Now that narrative is gonna change a little bit more too, because guess what else is gonna happen now? Everybody's not unified. Yep, black sports media is not unified. Nobody is together. Everybody thinks they're fighting against each other. When all the blacks were getting money, and ESPN felt this is too much and ain't bringing in any type of money, we got to buy them all out and get rid of them. Fox was actually paying people better. Absolutely. So when you start thinking big picture, you got to start saying to yourself, well, Colin Cowherd is possibly going back to ESPN. And guess how much his contract is going to be? Massive. He has built a network of nearly 20 podcast shows with the volume. He has 3 investment firms willing to invest into the Volume Network. Colin Cowherd is going to have a record deal. His empire, Peyton Manning's empire, we didn't even bring them into the equation yet. Eli and Peyton Manning, when it's really Peyton Manning's thing and Eli's just working for it. Peter Sherlin from North Road Company, they bought a minority stake in Peyton Manning's Omaha Productions. Omaha Productions is his entertainment empire is worth $400 million. $400 million. We didn't bring Tom Brady. He ain't take the job yet. The job is there when he wanted. He got a $300-something million deal waiting on him whenever he decides to go to television. Damn. And he's like, well, I might do it, I might not. I don't know. Wow. That's a hell of a damn jump, ain't it? Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I won't. Who knows? Hell of an option. Wish we had that kind of pull. Wish we had that kind of power. Wish we had those kind of people that was backing us enough so that they would have a kind of backbone. But we don't, because we're too busy fighting each other. We're sitting there looking at the numbers. And you look at the ratings that Colin Cowherd number does. He does better on radio than he does really on his own show. On radio, he has his own viewers. He's got everything going for him. He has a show. Shannon Sharpe just did 60 million views. Shannon Sharpe just showed you what he can do with Club Shay Shay, and he just showed you what he can do for ESPN. He doubled the numbers, almost tripled the numbers. Before Shannon Sharpe got there, First Take was doing 340 to probably 315,000. That's it, viewers. When Shannon got there, the numbers went 500,000, 600,000. And one day it hit 1 million. 1 million. After the Cowboys were eliminated from the playoffs, the next show was like 1 million. Shannon Sharpe is gold. And now he's the hottest thing on the internet. From Nightcap to Club Shay Shay to ESPN. Nobody has gotten tired of Shannon Sharpe yet. Why? Because he's a real personality and he works on his craft. Something that Stephen A. don't do and hadn't done for a long time. He's just a hack now. So when you become a hack and you're just going through the motions, it's best you move on. See, Stephen A. Smith's show that he renamed and keep remixing the same thing, hoping it gets better. All he did was dump more money into production and everything else, and he's still barely getting 200,000 views. And you said, well, 200,000 is a lot of views. You know, what the hell you mean? You acting like that's nothing. Okay, what I'm trying to say is for the money he's paying out, 200,000 views is not really anything. Is he bringing in 15 million viewerships a month? And then you got to think about it. What's going on with the actual movement? Like, what is going on with the actual progression of the show? What is actually happening is that you have a staff, you have about a staff of maybe 5, 6, or 7 people that you gotta pay. So they gotta get paid. You got somebody who's doing your shorts, your edits, your thumbnails, all of those people gotta get paid. So now those people you're paying, they're up. It's their time to shine. You see? So all those big numbers you think, they're like, oh, they making big money off this. Nah, not really. It's not where it wants to be yet. See, here's what y'all don't understand. These shows want to fake these numbers to make those numbers look good so they can get somebody to come in and buy into the show. That's the end result. That's where the money is. So far, they haven't made any. And I mean, according to us, like us sitting on the couch and everybody else, oh yeah, that'll be some money for us, but not for them because the cost is greater than what you're bringing in. And that's why Stephen A's World didn't work on ESPN Plus, which is just a big old flop. And then you got, what's they got now? They got this new thing they have. They had No Mercy. That was failing. Then he had to keep revamping the show. He had the green screen background in the backdrop. So he started putting money in production into it and start getting a better microphone, better camera, better everything because he wants to have the best of the best, which I don't blame him for. I will never blame a man for wanting to have the best, the very best there is. He wants to be the best. He wants to have the best. Not mad at anybody for trying to do that, but you're late in the game, buddy. You're late in the game. You're not interesting enough. You're not Kwame Brown. You don't have a dog in the fight. You see, and this is what I hate too, is when these guys come around and they don't seem to understand the big picture when you try to tell them. In the real game of life, you're non-existent. Kwame Brown is really living this life. He's giving you his real opinions because he's just a person. He don't consider himself a celebrity. He played basketball in the NBA, but that's just a small part of what's your life. You got to go back out in the world. Then what you gonna do? Oh yeah, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the page if you're new here. Don't forget to join the Patreon, the Carcino for Life Patreon is great. It's outstanding, I know, because I'm on it. Oh yeah, we got a lot more information coming out for y'all today. It's going to be an incredible day. I told you we got nothing but content coming. And it's going to be another great ride. So, Stephen A. Smith, he decided in his infinite wisdom to bring in Kimberly Martin to the show. That's going to be the person he wanted to bring up next. Kimberly Martin. Another black woman who tears down black athletes. Because she's married to a white man. Wow, this is really what we need. That was exactly what we needed, Stephen A. You know us so well. That's what we were missing. I was wondering what we was missing, and that was it. You really helped me out, Stephen A. He showed you how far you can go lying. You could write an autobiography book and just completely lie about your history. All your teammates that appeared on that show, not one of them will ever do an interview. People have called them and tried to contact them. And some of those guys you're friends with, they told you, they said, hey, this guy's trying to interview me and ask me about your basketball career. Oh, don't talk to him. How would you say, don't talk to him? What was that about? You was getting honored at Winston-Salem like you actually played on the damn team when you never got in the game. You tore your knee up and never played. I don't know. I don't know what's worse. This man has told so many egregious lies that it just baffles the mind. He built up his career off of Carlton Hines. He lied and said, oh, I can cover this because I'm from the streets. I'm from the Bronx. You was born in the Bronx and left the Bronx when you were 3, almost 4 years of age. You don't remember no damn Bronx. You ran that sob story on Carlton Hines' family and wrote that article, and some of them wanted to smack you in your face for what you were saying in that article. They didn't like it. But you had 2 pages in the paper. And that's how you got a job based off that interview. Or that story, rather. Hack. Now, Pat McAfee. You can like his show, not like his show, whatever. One thing about Pat McAfee, this guy right here stands up for what he believes in. This guy right here, Pat McAfee, he stands up for what he believes in. He stands up for his show. He didn't come in, he did it his way. He's gonna wear a black tank top and he's gonna be his own man. He's not gonna let anybody come in and try to tell him what to do. He's his own boss because he acts like one. Shannon Sharpe, his problem is he acts like a worker and not a boss. And they're put in boss positions. So when someone says they're the ringleader or something, or they're put in charge and they want the reins, they want to be the guy that's got the appearance that he's the man. And Stephen A. tried to show Shannon Sharpe like he's the big dog on the campus on ESPN. And you're so small, ESPN's not even thinking about it. And I think he knows it too, because the negotiations is still ongoing. ESPN don't seem to be budging. You asking them for more money. And you're trying to take credit for the ratings increase. Now he on this. Shannon Sharpe wouldn't have came over if it wasn't for me. I got the ball rolling on Shannon Sharpe. So the numbers wouldn't even be there. I told y'all to get rid of Max. They're circling the wagons. ESPN is looking at who could produce me money. Ryan Clark, excellent at his job. Works at his craft. Don't take shortcuts. He don't need to come out and disrespect athletes who do their job. And he's not afraid to step up to Stephen A. So anyway, I'm gonna take a nap. Then I'll tell you to update and fill you in some more on what I learned about Diddy. I'm just not finna Diddy everybody. I can't do that. I would go Diddy nuts. I can't just do that consistently without having some other videos in between talking about other things, because that's life. I don't care about the views like that. We get some more information, so we're reporting. But other than that, we talking about other topics right now. All right? And that's how it works. Shouts out to Kwame Brown, Bus Life. Subscribe to him, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez. Glad to see Jose's back after a 2-week absence. Welcome to HDII TV, Armando Black TV, exposing people. Ticket TV, The Dreamers Pro, The Star Report, Angela Stan King Show. Now, you tell me what you think. As blacks have shown, they can hold their own in viewership and public interest. As the white counterparts, why the hell are they getting blown out the water? They're not even close when it's coming to the money. I mean, close. I'm not bragging, but I sit on my couch and I make more money almost than a lot of people at ESPN. That's real talk. I'm just saying. But they on TV. And they got to go to job Monday through Friday or whatever and get up early in the morning. They can't kick it on Sundays because they got to go to bed at 9 because they got to get up at 4 in the morning to get ready to go to the show, get the makeup on, get crew. I ain't got to do that. All I got to do is wake up and get down, get to it. That's what I'm saying. So that's all I got to do is wake up and get to it. And I'm making more than them. So something's wrong there, ain't it? That seems a little bizarre. Absolutely. My Cash App is Carcino for those who want to donate. Thank all y'all too for the donations to the Cash App. I've been reading some of the questions I've been putting in there. It's quite interesting. But yes, it is time to rest and get some Z's. Shouts out to you guys for coming in early. I know it's super early for like my homeboy. If he ain't seen like this time in the day since like 1987. That's about it. Other than that, he ain't seen this time. He graduated from high school in 87. So that's what I'm saying. This is he ain't no morning guy. That's the last time he was doing stuff in the mornings. He was out like a scout on a new route.